G'day folks, here's part one of my February collection update. G'day folks, Jeff here, welcome back to the channel. This is another collection update. This is part one of two of February. I bought a bit of stuff. So yeah, this is all the records. Next time will be CDs. Which just happens to be a kind of handy even split. So yeah, I could have rammed them all into one, but yeah, then it'd be like an hour and a half. So I'll try to keep this one under an hour. So yeah, anyway, let's get into it. All right, we're going to start this one with Spain. They've been doing very well in my collection of late. Killing it with newer bands like Troll Cave, Apparition, Sanctuarium, and now I'm an instant fan of Jade. I have just happened to get 3 of their releases this time. 2 of which are from the band themselves, and this first one's from Dark Descent. So yeah, Jade are a kind of melodic death metal band, you could say, or death doom sort of thing. Not that really the Gothenburg sort of sense, more like, I don't know, like November's Doom or earlier Paradise Lost possibly. Sort of atmospheric death doom I think they're listed as on Metal Archives, which is pretty fitting really. It's quite moody sort of music, I think. Kind of reminds me of old Catatonia meets Bolzer. Now, the Bolzer comparison's partly because they have this kind of similar, kind of shouty vocals, and I don't mean that in a bad way. If you've heard later era Bolzer, you'll know exactly what I mean. There is also just general riffiness, and song composition reminds me of Bolzer a bit as well. So anyway, let's get started. The first one is their Smoking Mirror. This is like a demo they did in 2018. This is a reissue on Pulverized Records. I think it was on tape originally. So yeah, this is 4-track EP. I don't like this as much as the album, I've got to say, but it's a bloody damn good start, that's for sure. It's a bit more full-on and sort of deathy than the album. Especially, I think it's Blossom, the second or third track. That's pretty full-on. Like they do very well of lurching between pretty full-on death metal to slower, more atmospheric sort of bits. It's one of their skills is like the really good sort of contrast. On this, the deeper vocal sound, bloody killer. There's a bit less of his sort of Bolzer sort of style. I think it's the last song, Smoking Mirror, is probably my favourite on here. It takes a bit to kick in, sort of, yeah, but the grand riff throughout it's just massive highlight. It's absolutely killer stuff. These guys are not the most imaginative with their inner sleeves. I think this is just black vinyl. It's just kind of cool logo and yeah, lyrics. So damn good start. This is not the first one of theirs I heard. The first one I finally got around to checking out was this is their proper album, Pacification of Death. This one I got off the band from Bandcamp. This is also on Pulverized Records. Yeah, this is a massive step up in quality. Well, maybe not massive, but a good step up from Smoking Mirror. Really thunderous drums on this that I love. They played well. They keep it interesting with the sound. It's just impeccable, bloody great. The highlight for me probably on this is the first song, The Pacification of Death. It's got this melodic sort of lead running through it, just so works so perfectly. Kind of starts slow, reminds me of like, I don't know, slower parts of Crips, but then just kicks in, and the lead sort of bit, there's a bit of the old Black Iron from Catatonia sort of style. The second song, Dragged Fears and Drowned Bones, is another ripper. Just catchy as hell, really grand is probably the best way of putting it for these guys. They're just epic sounding. It's really good stuff. It's not your sort of not caveman death metal whatsoever. What is it? Emanation of Decay. That's where it sort of speeds up a bit, and same with Ghastly Eyes, which just friggin' rules. I don't know, there's this sort of transition, like speed ramp ups, that just sounds so bloody good. I've listened to this a lot of late, I must admit. Just really seamless songwriting. It just works so perfectly. There's even some nice sort of solo action on Silk Ransoms. Oh, yeah, I'll show you all the inside bits and pieces. I think the first one was black vinyl. I think this one's on spiffy Jade vinyl maybe. Again, not the most interesting in a bit, but oh well, who cares? Music's more important. So yeah, I'm really surprised, and I've got to thank Simon from Explosive Action for talking these guys up and making me pay attention, even if it's a couple of years late. I'm glad I finally got here because this is just great. And like, look at that stunning cover art. This is by Adam Burke, who also did like Eternal Champion, Evoken. I think the new Ghost Smoker album that I'm very much looking forward to getting probably next month, and I think the new Altars he done as well as a heap of other ones. So really, really good quality cover art. They don't seem to like putting their logo on the front, which is kind of stylish. So yeah, that's that one. And then the Jade continues. This is a Jade split with Sanctuarium, another Spanish death metal sort of band that they kind of shared members with, although not after this, or not during this. This is the first one with their newer drummer, Mark, the main guy from Sanctuarium and Troll Cave, and a lot of other bands. He was the drummer on this one and sounded great. The new guy sounds bloody good. The sound isn't quite as good, but I like he's got some sort of tricky cymbal work that I really quite like. So yeah, Jade gets 3 songs, Sanctuarium get 2 songs. Yeah, it's just more grand, atmospheric death doom, killer bloody stuff. I think the 2 main guys from Jade are in, what is it, Fosgore as well. So I don't really know that band, so I might have to check them out as well. And I'm very happy that Jade have just announced a new album coming out in May, I think it's on Pulverized as well. So that will be in a future update, collection update, that's for sure. I'll be tracking that down quick smart. The other songs on here are 2 Sanctuarium ones, which are sort of a bit longer and slower. A bit slower for Sanctuarium. Their stuff's usually a bit faster, but and the production is definitely rawer. It's not quite as nice sounding as Jade, but nicely fuzzy. I'll give them that. Anything I'll whinge about is the vocals could be a bit louder, but now. And yeah, the second song, Melodorous Osteophagian Acrimony or something. I don't know, it's got a nice sort of bolt thrower groove to it. Just kind of reminds me of them, or even Carcinoid, like Melbourne, excellent death metal band. I don't know, just something reminds me of them. So yeah, excellent bloody split. I think this came out last year. Let's show that, bits and pieces. Ooh. So you actually get band photos on this one, even admittedly somewhat dark. I think this is just black vinyl. I don't even know what this came out on. It doesn't even say. Anyway. Oh no, it does say Pulverized Records down the bottom. So yeah, excellent work from Pulverized. So yeah, this one I also got from the band. And they even sent a nice little note. Came with it saying, "Thanks for your support, Jeffrey. May you enjoy both albums from music to visuals at its best. Take so much care, Jade," or someone or other. So thanks, fellas. Very happy to order this one. So yeah, if you haven't heard Jade, I highly recommend it. It's not the most intense or berserker sort of death metal, but yeah, just quality atmospheric death doom. Great stuff. I got that Jade demo from Dark Descent, and at the same time I picked up this one. This is the new Frenolith album, Ashen Womb. I think CD probably came out on Dark Descent, but this record came out on Masako on Oho, one of their usual sort of collaborations that they do. This is their 3rd album from this Danish death metal band. Pretty straightforward, slightly modern sounding death metal. I don't mean that in a bad way by any means. I've listened to this a heap, I've got to say, but it hasn't quite clicked for me, I've got to say. I'm really enjoying it. Don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with it, but it just hasn't quite sort of done that sort of light bulb moment of, "Oi, that's an amazing album." So I'll persist. I tend to find when I listen to stuff in the car while driving, maybe it just gives it a bit more extra bottom end sort of thing from the engine sound, but that's usually where I make discoveries of bands that I've already been listening to a heap that I actually really like this. So yeah, this guy's a Danish, so unsurprisingly has David from Undergang in it. I think he's been there the whole time as well, and he does guitar and vocals, but I also have other vocals from Simon from Ascendancy, and I like the variety of the both vocal styles. This is just killer, really pretty bloody heavy, but churning sort of death metal that I really like about it. It's changing quite a bit and just a bit sinister sounding, which is nice. I think my favourite song on here is probably Nebulae, which has got a bit of a Dead Congregation kind of feel to it. And the track after that, Stagnated Blood's another ripper as well. It's a bit faster. I've seen people whinging about the drum sound on this, but doesn't seem to worry me too much. Sounds fine. This does end with a classic sort of, it's the title track, and it's a classic immolation style of longer, slower sort of song at the end, which they do very well. I think it's just black vinyl, and surely there's an, oh yeah, here's the inner that I had already prepared. Cool artwork and so on, so yeah, I'm going to persist with this one. I mean, nothing wrong with it whatsoever, it just hasn't quite blown me away, but the previous two albums, I think they might have been pretty similar, a bit of slow burn sort of ones, so yeah, happy to have this one though. Killer band. The next couple I got from Strange World Records, which I think is in Melbourne. They were having a moving sale, I think, or something. I don't know. It was like 20 or 25% off, so I thought, what the hell. So I grabbed a couple that I'd been sort of planning on getting eventually, but saw them there and went, why not? First one is Sivirus with their Decrepit Flesh Relic album. This is their album from 2022. It came out on Transylvanian Recordings. Sorry, I shouldn't laugh. This is booming death doom from Los Angeles. Killer bloody stuff. Their Maze Envy album came out last year, was pretty bloody killer as well, but I think I kind of prefer this one. It's slightly, I mean, Maze Envy is probably a bit classier than this, but this one's a bit more bludgeoning and just stomp on you sort of style. This is death doomy sort of stuff. It does have slight kind of hardcore element, kind of like Cruelty, that sort of side of things, so just lots of mid-paced chunky bits that, I mean, it still sounds like death doom, and it's just got that, I don't know, slight beat down sort of feel to it. I've been listening to this quite a lot as well, I gotta say. It's very good music to go to sleep to. Not that it puts me to sleep, but when I want to go to sleep, this is just the right pace to, not keep me awake, let's put it that way. I think Haibuku is one of my favourites on here. It's got this bit of sort of that disembowelment song Excoriate, the double bassy sort of bit on that. Kind of reminds me, but... and also, I think From the Crypt to the Cavern is another ripper on here. One of the highlights for me definitely is the vocals from Lord Fowl. A very fitting name, I think. It just sounds monstrous on this. Really powerful, really deep sort of voice, but also some raspier kind of bits as well. Not very often. It's mostly just deep and scary sounding. Really good. Occasionally they use sort of slight bit of use of violins sort of things. Sort of adds to the doom and gloom of it. But yeah, this is just sheer heaviness. It's bloody incredible stuff. Big fan, I got to say. Ooh. So you get, what do you get? You get a photo of the band, more photos. For some reason, a different lyric sheet, which I didn't even notice was a separate one. It's cool ass artwork. And I think this is on fancy colour. Ooh, very nice. So yeah, I'm a big fan of this. If you heard Maze Envy and you haven't checked out this one, definitely do, because it's a friggin' ripper. Just heavy as balls. Also from Strange World was one from 2024 that I hadn't gotten around to picking up for some reason. Maybe I downloaded it and didn't quite grab me, but it's grabbed me now, that's for sure. This is Zompantley with Beating the Drums of Ancestral Force. This came out on $20 spin. This is another band from Los Angeles, I think, or thereabouts, somewhere in California. This has several dudes from Xibalba, like the American one, not the Mexican black metal one. And a lot of band members, I got to say. There's bloody heaps of people listed on this. I think a lot of them are doing, traditional kind of instruments and so on. Also get some lyrics and so on. But yeah, I really like that band pick. That's how you look pretty tough. This is mostly chunky death doom sort of stuff. Like, it's not too dissimilar to their first album that I'm not going to pretend I can pronounce. Death doom, but does have some of those Xibalba breakdowny sort of bits in it as well. Like, kind of beatdowny bits that sound friggin' tough as hell, I got to say. I actually saw Xibalba a couple of weeks ago, whenever that was, and it was killer. I wanted to go up to the dude and fanboy it about this band instead of Xibalba, but yeah, he was already surrounded by younger, keener fans, and yeah, bugger that. So yeah, I really like this though. It does have some traditional instruments and sort of strange vocalizing bits, but not enough in my book, I've got to say. I mean, these guys are obviously kind of, I don't know, themed of Mexican and thereabouts, sort of, I don't know if it's Incan or Mayan or whatever, I'm sorry. Probably offending people, but yeah, they're very traditional sort of style, but yeah, I think they could use more of the traditional instruments to tell the truth. It kind of reminds me of like Nile after their, I mean, it's a bit different really, but yeah, on the first Nile album, Amongst the Catacombs of Nefernkar, there's all like wacky-do instruments and bone things, and it just gives it a real exotic, weird sort of feel. And after that, there's hardly any on Nile. I'm sure they do occasionally, but yeah, it was very noticeable on the first album. And yeah, same with this. It could be more, I reckon. I don't know. I'm always up to some exotic instruments, especially on like the last song. Yeah, I'm not going to pronounce that one. Yeah, it's a sort of slower, it's a classic sort of Doom Crusher ending sort of song. Even has some kind of throaty vocals that kind of remind me of like Anathema, Silent Enigma kind of era vocals, and even some clean guitar bits. That would have been perfect place to jam in some weird drums and all sorts of stuff, but I don't know, they didn't. So that's the only thing I'll whinge about on this. The rest of it's freaking killer. It's just heavy as hell. Nice mournful leads on the second song. Yeah, I'm also not going to pronounce that one. Track 2. I really like the slowness on this, but I must admit it gets a little too slow and samey after a while. So yeah, that's probably another thing I'll whinge about on it, but just could be marginally more varied. But that's what they're trying to do, so they do it very bloody well. I think it's just black vinyl, so nothing super exciting. So I'm glad I got this discounted because it's not my favourite album of all time, but it's still definitely worth having, that's for sure. All right, next up are an order that I got from Total War Records in Queensland. Excellent label and distro. First up is Pyre with their Where Obscurity Sways album. This just came out on Osmos Productions, actually. Yeah, this is Russian death metal. I got a promo of this, which, yeah, quite impressed me, hence why I bought it. So thanks to whoever put me on promo things. It might be Marty from Heavy Metallurgy. I think he said he was going to, but at any rate, I get lots of promos now, which I'm very happy about. So, I mean, this is all digital sort of stuff, but gone are the days where you get like a bodgy little CD in a sleeve, or in a cardboard sleeve, I think. Digital now, which is fine by me. So, yeah, I get to listen to the new Titan Blood album early, which I'm very happy about. So, at any rate, this one, quite impressed. This is pretty straightforward death metal. This sort of sounds like a mix kind of thing of Pestilence meets Bolt Thrower, especially on, I think it's the third song from the Stygian, the second song from the Stygian Depths. It's kind of like a less tech version of Testimony of the Ancients by era sort of Pestilence. So quite a lot less Swedish sounding than their earlier stuff, that's for sure. I don't own their earlier stuff, but I've listened to it a few times, and it's bloody killer, don't get me wrong, but they've got a slight bit more uniqueness to them now. So yeah, nothing super duper fancy. They're not breaking the mold or anything like that when you get lyrics and bands standing around looking tough, plus a poster of the band standing around looking tough in the forest, no less. So, yeah, it's not gonna change any, trends or anything like that. But yeah, just really excellent, pretty heavy death metal. Lovely stuff. Now, the main reason why I did a Total War Records order was to get these two. This is Naked Whipper with Pain Streaks and Naked Whipper with Chapel Defilement. So yeah, this is a somewhat special kind of German band that are kind of black grind almost, you could say. It sounds like blood meets blasphemy, that sort of thing. And sure enough, the main guy of this sang for Blood on their Crossboat album, I think, after Martin left for a while. So honestly, I didn't know anything about this band. This first album, Pain Streaks, came out in like 1995 on CD only and from MMI. Honestly, it's a pretty short album. I think the main album, side A, is the proper studio album, and side B is all live tracks. And yeah, I think the album's like 20 minutes long or something. So yeah, the whole thing's 40 minutes long. Yeah, this is pretty full-on bloody stuff, that's for sure. So this is recorded with Malafar as the backing band. No idea who they are. I think the bassist and singer possibly is the main guy in the band. Yeah, Dominus AS, bass and vocals. So, and yeah, according to Metal Archives, yeah, he went to prison for manslaughter. So, yeah, Naked Ripper, great stuff. Don't kill me. But this is pretty bloody good, actually. This is definitely up my alley. Just the vocals are just beautifully feral and unhinged. It's mostly sort of 90s grind kind of style, or early 90s kind of grind style with just raspy kind of vocals. And yeah, as you can tell, Chris Moyen artwork, unsurprisingly. So yeah, I'm a big fan of the early stuff. I think the live tracks are surprisingly good quality for, I don't know, 90, whenever it was, 94. Yeah, it was not too shabby at all. Including this, I think the drums were a bit loud, but this is super crazed ending to the song Pain Streaks as well. So with this one you get like a booklety kind of thing, which is not exactly extensive, but still pretty cool. Has some photos of the dudes. And yeah, the reason why I checked this one out is mainly because I got a promo for this album. This is a brand spanking album, Chapel Defilement, which only just came out. Obviously, due to said incarceration, why there was no albums in between. Both these came out on Iron Bonehead Records, by the way. So, and I think that Pain Streaks is that's a pretty recent reissue as well. Only just came out, I think. So, so yeah, this is the new album. He's now got like backing band of blokes from Ungod and Saxa. One of whom is in Gut and Nunhawk Commando 666, I think. So, very excellent backing band. So it's the main guy, again on bass. I think he maybe is just doing vocals now on this, actually. Yeah, music, lyrics, and vocals. So you don't get a nice, huge booklet on this one. But you do get lyrics and so on. Oh, and I forgot to show the first poster. It's essentially the same as this, just with the logo and album artwork. And yeah, both black vinyl. So yeah, this one is pretty bloody good. Unsurprisingly, better sound. It's not, 30 years old. So obviously the sound's going to be a bit better these days. The vocals seem a bit sort of deeper, but there's still plenty of snarly, unhinged sort of stuff as well. Yeah, I got to say this is marginally more musical, but yeah, don't worry, it's it ain't no tech death, that's for sure. I think it's even more energetic actually than the first album. It's freaking great. Sadly, the first album, Pain Streaks, doesn't have any lyrics. It does have some interesting song titles. The second one does have lyrics, which are deliciously debauched and sick. I love it. There's charming songs such as Fucked on Cross. What else? Flamethrow Messiah, Nail or Be Nailed, Depraved to the Bone, and probably Top-Notch Slave Driver. But my favourite song title and pretty charming lyrics as well as Wow Wow, Holy Whore, Holy Wax Fat Candles. Okay, no worries, boys. Whatever floats your boat. So, unsurprisingly, Chris Moyen black and white cover art's pretty friggin' similar, but I mean, it's obviously inspired by the first album. So yeah, very happy with these ones. I'm glad I finally got around to checking them out. I don't know how legendary they were because I'd barely heard of them before that. So yeah, highly recommended these guys. Just rabid stuff. It's beautiful. All right, up next are a couple that I got from the band themselves via their Bandcamp. This is Maceration with It Never Ends and Serpent Devourment. So yeah, this is a Danish death metal band. Been around for quite a while. Well, they had a bit of a gap, let's put it that way. Originally it was a side project of two guys from Invocator, another Danish band, which is a bit more sort of tech death thrash kind of style. This is just pretty straight Florida sort of style death metal. Or the first album was A Serenade of Agony, which came out in 1992. So I might have to try and track a copy of that one down. It was pretty bloody tasty, but one of the key things was it had Dan Swino on vocals on it. So I'm guessing they just ran into him. I don't know. So yeah, it was pretty decent. They split then for several decades and got back together in 2021. And after a bit, put out this one. So this is It Never Ends. This came out in 2022. This is the version on Maceration Productions. Yeah, so this has got Dan Swano on it again, plus he mixed and mastered it as well. So he sounds bloody awesome on this, I've got to say. Probably best Dan Swano vocals I've heard in ages. So yeah, really bloody good. Honestly, on the first album, you could barely tell it was him. It was slowly odd, I've got to say. That awesome art. I must admit that one of the main reasons I got this, partly for the Swano factor, but also the artist is what's his name, Ola Larson, who's did Disma and Sulphur Aeon and a batch of killer artwork. I think I discussed him on a video that I did that had favorite cover artists in it somewhere. I'll put a picture of it up because I can't remember which video it was, but awesome finished artist. He does a fantastic sort of job. So that completely suckered me, the full Cthulhu sort of style of that. But music is great. It's suitably fat and heavy sort of sound. It's pretty straightforward death metal, nothing fancy or anything. Title track on this is just, is it this one? Yeah, It Never Dies, just heavy as hell. Just crushing sort of slow chorus. Really bloody tasty, I gotta say. With this one you get in a sleeve of the band looking old and lyrics, and pretty coloured vinyl. I've started being one of those wanker dudes that puts all their records in plastic if it comes in, crappy cardboard. So yeah, bought myself a stack of those sort of silly covers, but yeah, gotta preserve the quality goods, So yeah, this is bloody killer, and I just put out this brand spanking album, Serpent Devourment. This came out this year, also on Maceration Productions, which I don't know if that's their own label or what, but that's where I got it from for a pretty reasonable price. So again, more killer artwork from Ola. Not gatefold, unfortunately, but oh well. And yeah, this is pretty bloody similar, but I think it's ramped up the intensity even more. So they got a new vocalist on this. Dan still mixes and masters it, but the new vocalist, his name I can't remember, but anyway, he's got a great deep growl. He sounds not quite as good as Swano, I don't think, but still pretty freaking decent. So yeah, I'm more than happy with these guys. This one also came on pretty coloured vinyl, and for some reason you get this is a bit where the vinyl was, lyrics and band looking tough, and you also get an inner of the same thing. So bonus inner, I suppose. So yeah, Maceration, pretty straightforward death metal, but killer cover art and just killer albums really, and Swano. Alright, and last but definitely not least, I did get an order from Headsplit. Most of them were CDs, so they'll be in my next one. But one of them was a record, and this is Mephitic Corpse with their Cygnus Attracts Sickness album. Just brand spanking, just came out on Headsplit, 625 Productions, and Extremely Rotten, so good, 3 damn fine labels to be on if you're going to be on labels. So yeah, this is a death grind kind of band from San Luis Obispo in California. Honestly, I was really quite impressed by these guys' their demo. Not by the cover art by any means, but the music on it is bloody killer. This is their Immense Thickened Vomit demo that came out in 2019 or something or other. So this is their brand spanking album. This guy's been touring quite a bit and doing well, so I was very happy to pick this one up. Plus, cool ass cover. But so yeah, this is death grind sort of stuff. It's the definite Mortician level bottom end. Just works really great with their raw, really quite raw sound. This kind of reminds me of Immortal Fate, and I'm really glad to see their beautiful albums just been reissued by Tank Crimes maybe, or 625, I don't know. So, and also Immortal Fate pops up because at the start of one of the songs they got this sample of it's like a voicemail left by Freeway, I think, from Immortal Fate, just talking about giving, whoever the caller was an Immortal Fate shirt, just saying, yeah, hit us up, mate, I'm just having some vodka and beers, and it's random sample to put on there. Speaking of samples, this starts with this what is it, stop the cremation bit that I was like, hey, I wonder what movie that from. As that's from, worked out that it's from Elizabethtown, which appears to be like a rom-com. I don't know. Maybe it's like, oh, what's his name? Bloody Archer boy from Lord of the Rings. Orlando Bloom, I think. So yeah, not the standard sort of movie you hear samples from, but it's about cremation. It's all good. So yeah, I was really quite impressed by this. Took me a couple of listens for it to sort of sink in, I'd say, but yeah, it certainly got there. Another band I could compare this with is Disgorge, like the Mexican Disgorge. There's just, I don't know, there's these kind of little drum bit transitions that they use that just reminds me of them. I kind of like the drum sound on this. The kick drum's a bit clicky, but it does cut through the murky sound, but the snare has this sort of slight ping to it as well that, yeah, definitely helps cut through the murk. I kind of like the spazzy sort of drums that he does on here. It adds to the sort of unpredictableness. Not sure that's a word, but you know what I mean. But yeah, really raw and heavy sounding guitars. Plenty of nearly Hemdale level chugger sort of bits. Don't want to go over promising things. Not much is as heavy as Hemdale, that's for sure. But these guys try. I think it's what's the song? Intrusive thoughts lead to impatient butchering as one of the highlights for the chugger aspect of things. They even have guest vocals from David from Undergang on track 6, which is Heart in Tinfoil. So yeah, 11 songs. They're mostly sort of, your 2-minute sort of ones. There's a few slightly longer ones, a few shorter ones. But yeah, just really nice combo of kind of brutal death metal and grind, but probably more grindy sort of feel to it, or death grind sort of style. So yeah, this is the fancy version, I believe, that comes on piss-coloured yellow with... Fair enough. With this, you also get it's really nice sort of poster, which has got like the old thrash collage and thanks list on the back. You also get lyrics and a picture of an autopsy on the back, which I'm probably not going to show you. I'm never quite sure with these because old mate Disgustor from Headsplit, always generous chap and throws in extra stuff, but I've got a Mephitic Corpse sticker, Mephitic Corpse patch, and I love this. I'm very tempted to frame that. I really like that picture. Just a Headsplit Records thing and an ad for that, and it's the same thing on both sides, and also an ad for that with nice letter from him on the back. It was Mental Jeff. Sorry, mate. Foss's Sepik sold out. Refund sent for that. It was another demo that I ordered. Hope this other stuff totally bludgeons you. Thanks for the support, Disgustor. Love your work. And some quality Headsplit Records stickers. So, yeah, always a generous chap throwing stuff in. Although I think extremely rotten productions, they probably win with the ridiculous amount of little Danish flags that they throw in, but Headsplit do damn fine work as well. So yeah, if you like raw death grindy stuff with some real heavy Mortician chug sort of bits in it as well, yeah, definitely check this one out. It's bloody killer. Well, that was the first half of my February 2025 collection updates. That's all the records. Some damn fine stuff in there, I gotta say. So keep an eye out for the next part 2. I'll try and ram that out shortly. There's lots of CDs. So there's some horrible Headsplit, death grindy, gore grindy sort of stuff. Some death metal stuff from Dismal Fate Records. Some old black metal. And some weird stuff from Sweat Lung. And what else? Oh, that's right. Some quite old Japanese horrible grind that I love. So yeah, keep an eye out for that one. And thanks again for watching. See you again soon. Cheers.